Hey guys, so earlier today I went and saw finally Meg 2 The Trench after a very fucking long weekend that I had. I mean, I literally have had only a few hours of sleep and I've been working all weekend. I had to work this morning 5:30 to 2. It's something I volunteered for. And then I went and saw Meg 2 The Trench and part of me is like I really don't want to go see this, but I kind of have to since I've been seeing everything up to this point. For the last 2 years, I've been seeing everything that comes out in the theaters, and I don't know why I decided to do that. I guess I'm a glutton for punishment because God, I've seen some fucking awful shit over the last couple of years. But I was like, yeah, sure. I want to see Meg 2 The Trench. Hey, it's at Statham. I like Statham. I always have been a big Jason Statham fan. Even though I wasn't a big fan of the first Meg, I did review the first Meg when it came out. I think it's still on this channel. I It's one of those movies like I see so many movies nowadays that like they pretty much go in one ear and go out the other pretty much anymore. It's really hard for a movie to stick with me and me remember it like vividly. And stuff like The Meg, I fucking can barely remember. Like a few weeks ago, I could barely remember what the hell happened in the first one. I kind of did get a chance to like go back and watch it again a little bit, and I still pretty much had the same opinion, which I was like, it's okay. Statham's great in it, and Statham is pretty much great in almost anything he could do. But I'm like, other than that, I remember just being disappointed by it, and it was honestly the last. For me, it's been the last 3D movie I saw in a theater was the original Meg, uh, and it's been 5 years since I've seen a 3D movie. I didn't even see a 3D. Go see the new Avatar in 3D, which was probably a fucking mistake. Actually, definitely probably was a mistake, but I'm not here to review that. But also, I didn't notice, and I don't know if anybody else knows this. Did anybody else know that this Meg series is based off a fucking series of books? Raise your hand if you did not know that, and didn't know that until I just said that, because I didn't know that until like this morning. I'm looking at the Wikipedia of this movie, and I'm like, wait a minute, Meg 2, and I'm like, this is based off a book. I'm like, wait a minute, the original was based off a book. I'm like, when was this book made? 97? So this is not like some book that just came out and then like that's why we never heard of it. This is a book that's been around for years. I'm like, this is a book series. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, what? And all the promotions for this movie, I never saw one time a mention of that. How bad is those books that have to be that like they don't even mention them? Like they, I've never seen anybody mention that one time. And I'm like, how the hell is that like a thing? But anyways, I wasn't looking forward to this movie. I was just like, I just gotta get one of those like, well, this is just it's gonna be a chore for me. I don't know. Maybe I went in with an open mind. It's not getting good reviews. I'm like, it made a lot of money because people are stupid and will go see anything. But I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I'm going in with an open mind. And I don't know if it was. I don't know if it was that I was tired or not in a good mood or both. Or I did not like this movie. I did not like this movie at all. Really, this movie was a fucking chore to sit through. And it doesn't help when you're fucking tired. Because this is one of the most boring ass fucking movies I've ever I've sat in a while. And when you're tired, you would think, okay, a movie about a megalodon would not be boring. No, you're fucking wrong. This movie is fucking boring. For a good chunk of this movie, I was about ready to fucking fall asleep. I'll get into why in a second, but if there are positives I could say about Statham was great in it. Statham is great. He's the best part of this movie. He carries this movie. He's the best. The movie is awesome. I got to see him on a jet ski, towards the last act, fighting, Megalodons, and it's pretty fucking fun. I mean, Statham is a very charismatic guy and very likable and easily convince you that he can kick everybody's ass that he's on screen with. It's like I love Statham, man. I've been a fan of his, and like even in the most mediocre movie like this, he's always the best part of it, and he's the best part of this. I will say like the last act of the movie was a lot of fun. Got my attention because there's literally a last act of this movie is literally this megalodons and like a giant squid and like these reject dinosaurs from Jurassic Park, or no, more specifically Jurassic World, attack this island called, I'm not making this up, Fun Island. That is the name of it. Fun Island. And there's all kinds of mayhem. And it's one of those movies that scenes like this would have benefited more if it was rated R and it didn't have to like shy away from the blood and the guts. But, they have to tone it down. But there's still some pretty fun kills in the process while watching the final act. I did like the final act. It was entertaining, but Jesus Christ, was this movie, to get to that point was a fucking chore to sit through. This movie, man, my main issue, like I said, it was so fucking boring. I've never been so bored watching a movie about a giant shark in my entire life. This movie, a good chunk of it, is like, the best way I can describe it is that if this movie is the Halloween Ends of the Meg franchise, in that for a long ass time, you almost forget that there's a megalodon shark in this fucking thing. Because they barely focus on it. At all. The movie instead decides to become a movie about corporate espionage and corporate sabotage. Because that's what you want in a fucking Megalodon movie. Where you get these villains that I felt like I missed a movie, and like I missed a movie in between, because you get introduced to these characters very quickly and they're very briefly on screen, and then all of a sudden they're villains and you're like, who the fuck are these people? And I have to try to recollect. You spend half the movie going, who the fuck are these people? Why do I care? What are their motivations as villains? What is going on? Why do I even fucking care? Again, why do I care? And it spends the majority of the first half with this shit. And I'm like, I don't care. And like, every so often there'll be a shark. I'm like, oh yeah, this is a movie about a fucking giant shark. Why am I focusing on what the inner workings of a fucking mogul tech company? Who gives a shit? Like, I don't give a shit. Like, who gives a fuck? I mean, am I missing something? I don't know. Like when you make, this is not like, the hell, this is what I complain. I might be the one of the few people that did not love Kong versus Godzilla, because good God, was that, like, this movie is almost in that same category, but I do like Kong versus Godzilla better. But this is in the same category where it was a fucking chore. Like, the last act of the movie is so good that it's like, but the stuff leading up to it is so fucking unbearable to sit through. And it kind of really ruins the movie for you. But I like Kong versus Godzilla better than this. It's definitely better than this. Hell, the fucking CGI is a lot better. Dude, were they even trying with some of the CGI in this movie? Were they even trying? Were they trying to make a remake of fucking Sharknado? I was convinced at some points there's some shitty ass CGI in this movie. Like, what was that shit? Like, there's, dude, I just realized like earlier today also. Apparently, my theater is doing a 10-year anniversary for, guess, I'm not making this up, Sharknado. Why? Just why? Why are we doing like a 10-year retrospective of Sharknado? And like the special effects in that are about on pretty much the same par as the fucking some of the special effects in this movie. God, like this, I did not like that. Didn't that took me out of the movie when, especially some scenes of the shark. Honestly, the shark in Jaws 4D looked about as good as the sharks in this movie did too. That's how bad they looked. I thought. I'm not making that up. There's some. Oh God. Yeah, I. When I talk about also like I like I said, I don't remember a whole vividly a lot about the first one, but like I remember watching when they were focusing on all these villains and stuff like that. Like they were established characters. They acted like they were established characters that you're supposed to know who these people are. These villains that get introduced, and then just like I was like, were they in the original? Am I fucking like misremembering this movie? Like, were they characters that were established that I just can't remember? I looked it up. No, they weren't. So I'm not fucking crazy. Like, what the fuck? Like, also, why the hell did they kill off the love interest from the first one? What was the point of that? I don't know. The Asian girl, so that the daughter is now an orphan who's a teenager, and her interaction with Jason Statham was still pretty good. I remember that being pretty good from the original. Her interactions, like I said, her and Statham were pretty good together. Um, yeah, I just really did not like this movie. I had a friend message me on Facebook. They saw me in the theater, like, and they weren't see it the same thing. They're like, I was not a fan. I was like, yeah, I almost fell fucking asleep watching this movie. It was so boring. Like, why the fuck? Like, I don't understand why a megalodon shark attack movie is boring. How do you do that? That's amazing. Um, what else? Is there anything else I don't even think I want to talk about it. This is one of those movies that's like I get angry about, and I don't know why. Like I kind of like was angry after like why am I mad about the Meg 2 The Trench? Like also like this movie is lazy, just fucking lazy. Like they're like I remember watching the trailer for this movie when it came out, or the trailer first came out for this movie, and they literally used the same exact shot they used in the original, where the people are floating on a raft, and then they don't see underneath them is a giant shark mouth about to eat them up, like underneath the ocean. I'm like, literally, that is a shot from the original movie. They just took and pasted right on there, and then like they literally put the same dog, the same joke with the dog in the original, and put it in here. Like it's fucking lazy, dude. And like literally, the end of the movie is this pretty much the end of the first movie too. Of like, they'd like fucking call it Fun Island. That was so fucking dumb. Fun Island. How this movie was stupid. This movie just sucked. I don't know why I'm so mad about this movie, but I hated it. I kind of almost hated it. Like, it's like, what? I don't know. Anyways, I don't want to spend more time talking about this piece of shit. Don't go see it. What's this weekend? The Last Voyage of the Demeter, which I actually really am looking forward to. I hope it's a lot better than fucking Meg 2. It looks like it could be a lot of fun. That's one I'm actually looking forward to. Until then, I'll talk to you guys later.